Hello there, and welcome to the Poppycock Podcast, where the topics don't matter, and I'm not an expert. This is an episode that's pretty much just going to bring you up to speed on what we're doing in the background and let you know about what's going on. A major development with A Cold Night in Gotham, the audio drama Batman experience that we've cooked up. So, I'll start off with the little bit more mundane. That's right, Roxy. Our website, Jibber Jabber, has been rebranded. So many of you are coming to the website from the podcast instead of vice versa like we originally expected, that we decided, we weren't ever married to the name. It was a placeholder. We changed it because we couldn't be called off topic anymore, because when we first started the podcast back in the day, we were always getting off topic. So we were just like, hey, that's on brand, but it's also a much larger podcast name. So it doesn't make sense to compete with them on that. So we shifted, never really got married to it, and then this just sort of made sense organically. So now everything is Poppycock. If you type in poppycock.video.blog, you get our website. We just had 4 or 5 new articles go up yesterday alone. Pretty big deal. Had almost 300 people come visit the website. We love each and every one of you. We appreciate you taking the time to read our stuff, and we hope the next time you visit, you take a look at a couple more things. You look around, you see what other things we're working on and what other things we're writing on. We do our best not to do clickbait, stuff like that. I know there's a big swath of DC movie rumors that came out, and instead of stretching it into 4 separate, you won't believe what's going to happen articles, I just made it one streamlined article that covered everything that was being rumored, and then my 2 cents in at the end of each one of those little snippets. And then, I gave it to you guys to digest. Hope you appreciate that. I know it's the way I wish I could read things, a little less editorialized in the way of saying that this will definitely happen, and more of just, this is what people are saying, and from my perspective, I don't think that's going to happen. I'm very clear on where the rumor ends and my opinion begins. Something I think a lot of people should learn, especially in actual news circuits. But hey, this is Poppycock. We don't talk about things that actually matter, because that stuff is depressing. Anyway, so you may have noticed that A Cold Night in Gotham was supposed to come out this last week. Some of our voice actors have been super busy in the pandemic. All of us have jobs and lives and school and things that we're doing outside of this. So things kind of got slowed down for a second, and I had an unprecedented amount of time. My wife, because of the scheduling where she works, had extra days off, and so I maximized some time with her. Got some husband brownie points doing chores around the house, looking all smoldery. Rewatched some Burn Notice with her. She wasn't a fan, which is a huge tragedy. I'm considering a divorce. It's just, he had a Razor phone. That's like the sign of cool. He's like MacGyver and a spy. He's Mispiver. It's just, it's not that was a tangent. It doesn't matter. But anyway, as of the time of this going up, I'm going back up. Most of the audio is taken care of. I'm just editing all that together. Then I'm dropping in the sound effects and the music, intro and outro. I will say, however, that I was interacting with legendary cartoon, video game, voice actor Kevin Conroy from the original 90s series, from the Justice League series, from the Arkham series, from, I'm pretty sure, the Injustice as well. I would argue that no one has come close to displacing him as Batman. I know Troy Baker did a pretty good job a couple times. God, I just forgot his name again. He's the guy who voiced Ezio as well. He played Batman in Arkham Origins. I thought he did a pretty good job. I think he's also Mirage, actually, in Apex Legends, and that's going to bug me because I can see his face, but I can't say his name, which is weird for a voice actor, that you can see his face and not say his name. That's sort of the opposite of what most people get. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. And I would say that Omara from the new DC animated stuff was the closest we've ever had to anyone dethroning him, and it's a very different take, and it's a more subtle thing. It doesn't matter. It's good for what it's worth. I think he did an excellent job, better than anyone else in creating his own thing. But Kevin Conroy, for a vast majority of people, for an entire generation of people, is the voice that you hear when you read a comic book. And so while he was working on something for me that is not for this channel at all, for anything, it was a sort of a gift thing that I was cooking up for someone. I mentioned that this is something that I'm working on, and he was kind enough to throw in a little extra thing where he talked about how the fans have responded to Batman, why he thinks that people connect with Batman so much, how he has fans to this day and it blows him away. because he's just a guy who stood in a booth and talked, and he's just the most lovely, polite man. I know that they say never meet your heroes, and because of the virus, it's even harder now, but over video, the guy is a sweetheart of a man, and I want him to be my grandpa, and I would love to hug him. He is so abundantly filled with kindness and joy that it genuinely made me like tear up a little bit, and then I had to go run around outside in circles because I was so jazzed, because he offered, so much kindness and so many like wonderful words, both for that private, gift thing, and as well as just in general, he went above and beyond in his politeness and his kindness and the beautiful things that he said and the insight that he offered. So after A Cold Night in Gotham comes out, we are going to have a little snippet of him talking about his time as Batman, which, all new stuff, I've never heard him talk about this type of stuff, about what his interpretation and the fans and all that. So I think that's wildly interesting. And on top of that, A Cold Night in Gotham now has a surprise few moments of Kevin Conroy sprinkled inside of it. So I think it was already neat because it's an original idea. Obviously, I'm biased because I wrote it alongside my wife, who edited everything and gave me pointers when she straight up told me that my Joker voice sucked at first. So that was another week of grinding my vocal cords and drinking Red Bulls to pop it up higher, and watching videos of other people doing their versions and learning why they suck and figuring out why I also suck and making it suck less. The fact that now my Joker voice is going to be alongside the voice of a man who has been in the DC voice acting industry longer than some people listening have been alive is a little intimidating, but it's also wildly impressive. And so I consider him, I was going to say the cherry on top, but I actually don't like cherries on top of things. So I'm going to say that he is the whipped cream on top of the chocolate pie, because my God, that's delicious. So yeah, it is going to take, just a little bit longer, maybe like another week to just hammer everything out, make sure it's all good. I mean, it's not, I don't think our longest one, because our comic book videos with Adam ran a little beefy. We usually aim for like a 25 to 35 minute period, and those went close to like 50 plus. So this will be within that ballpark, which means that whenever you're listening to the edits to make sure you didn't miss anything, it's time consuming. But at the same time, I mean, when Kevin Conroy says nice things to you, you pretty much feel like you can walk on the moon. So I'm still facing up the gargantuan task. So it's going to be a very interesting experience. And again, I can't remember if this actually made it into any of the podcasts or if I just thought about putting it in one. So I'm just going to put it in this one. The voice reading, I do all of the voices that I do, and I do them all in one shot. I switch between narrator to the other person. I'll be like, and then, I don't believe it, whatever. And I'll pop back and forth. Obviously sounds very bad because I'm very congested with sinuses, but my voice acting is done for now. And so I did it all in one take, including the Joker, which the nuns next door think I'm a complete lunatic, because they just hear a man repeating lines to himself over and over again and flubbing them and then doing them a second time or third time. And all of the more talented people than me that I got to do the other voices, I dropped them in over top of the temporary voice lines that I did. So just, again, we are not professional voice actors. This is not official. We are all just fans. We are not trying to make money. We're just happy, and we're doing this, and we're having a blast. So it's just like if a buddy drew a cool picture and was like, dude, check out this cool picture I drew. It's of Batman. It's like that, but it's much longer and took a lot more work, and now has a little kiss of Conroy, to top it all off, which is just a beautiful moment for everything. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a moment of pride for me, because, I mean, how often do you meet your heroes and they turn out to actually be cool people, let alone nicer than you could have ever imagined? I think it's because he's Irish and I'm Irish, and we share that natural bond of like, hey, a potato famine, that was a rough one, so we're just, trying to enjoy life while we still have potatoes. Which reminds me, I should actually go make some. I know they're a starch. And I know after seeing Jeffrey Donovan shirtless on Burn Notice that I should feel more ashamed, and I do, but I'm also a hungry, hungry hippo. So we're going to have to weigh those two options against each other to see if I just eat something healthy. I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Anyway, I appreciate your patience. I appreciate you reading, the stuff that we write on the website, which is popping back up. It's growing even more. We've got a few more episodes before season 1 of the podcast ends. It will not be the end of the podcast. It'll just be a moment of breath before we start making more stuff. We're also cooking up some lore videos called Talk Nerdy to Me, where we bring you up to speed briefly on franchises and characters and major and lesser known versions of people that you may have heard of before, or a TV show that you may just have never caught. I know I talk about Smallville a lot, and I have a lot of friends who didn't watch Smallville, and aside from being bad people for not watching Smallville, I feel like they deserve to get a little bit of an uptick, a little up to speed on all that stuff. So that's what these will sort of serve as. And let's be real, the people who are watching lore videos online, those people can watch a video that says the same thing from 3 different creators just to make sure they don't miss one speck of information that they didn't get on the wiki. So these are probably going to be at least decently watched by people. And at the end of the day, you do want to improve things for people. There's going to be that person who's like, I don't know what my brother keeps talking about, Detroit Become Human. Who's this Connor guy? And then they go to that video and they click and then, oh, that's what he was. Force Unleashed. That guy looks a lot like Darth Maul and he sounds like him too. Well, let me explain. So a lot of stuff cooking up, getting ready for you guys. Again, we appreciate you visiting all this stuff, reading our stuff, listening to our stuff. This is just a creative outlet for a bunch of friends, and you guys have taken to it and listened to it and shared your opinions and talked back. And it's just, let's be real, in a weird time, it's nice to have some feeling of connection to other people. And I know, at least for me, when I listen to other podcasts or videos or I read things, it feels like I'm getting to have a conversation with my friends again. Like I'm back in school, like it's just a regular Friday afternoon and the world is totally normal and slider phones are still cool. And capturing that magic for just a little bit as it's the end goal of all of this. It's to sort of give a moment of happiness and clarity in the chaos. So we appreciate you. Thanks for sticking around with us. We know it's not always the best product because, it's hard to make things with a screaming dog, crazy nuns, tornado warnings, fire warnings, viruses. Monkeys, again, broke out of a lab with viruses. It's the start to 3 franchises. None of them end well for humans. And we're living it. So at the end of the day, if we can talk about whether or not Robert Pattinson should be working out more to be Batman, or if maybe he'll just be fine, hey, that's a topic that you can have a strong opinion about, and at the end of the day, you can still just go hang out with the person who disagreed with you, because it doesn't matter. And isn't that way more fun than arguing over politics or how we should be handling a crisis? Because, the people in charge can't even get that right. Why should we have to? So yeah, thanks for sticking around. We appreciate you. A Cold Night in Gotham is coming soon. It's going to be rad. At least, that's my bias. And if it isn't good, you can share it and be like, look at this stupid thing. But if it is cool, you can be like, look at this cool, brand new, all original story that I can either add to my mental version of Gotham and DC, or just stare at in a vacuum and be like, huh, interesting. Weird choice on that one. But whatever. So, and again, it's free of charge. I'm not charging you for a comic book. I'm not charging you for a movie. We're fans. We can't charge you. We don't own this stuff. So, yeah. Have a great time. Stay alive. Stay sane. Wash your hands. I shouldn't have to say that, but we have machines in parking lots of Targets and Walmarts telling you to do, wash behind your ears. Remember that germs can sometimes make you feel the icky sicky. Stuff you should have learned in kindergarten, but arguably not knowing that stuff is why this is still going on. So, wunderbar. Have a wonderful time. Stay alive. You're not going to want to miss A Cold Night in Gotham when it comes out. God bless you, Kevin Conroy. Please be my grandpa. I love you.